Hi, I'm Dan Raywood from Infosecurity magazine here at Infosecurity Europe with Javvad Malik, who's security advocate at AlienVault. Javvad, threat exchange, open threat exchange from AlienVault is a major offering from your company. What is it? What's it all about?
Think of it like a social media, like Twitter, but for threats. So you sign on, and you can post information about threats you see. You put all the IOCs together into what we call a pulse. You can choose to follow other people on it. So if you're up there contributing threats, I can say Dan knows what he's talking about. I follow what he says, and I can download all the indicators that you share, and I can import them into my own system. So it's a community-based platform where people just share information about threats, and they learn from each other and leverage the skills that are out there.
Okay, so a pure open platform then. Threat intelligence gets a bit of a bad name for being a little bit fuddy or a bit of a fad. Here's a question, can it really be determined to be threat intelligence if it's open? Because surely all the bad guys know what everyone knows about.
First off, bad guys are the ones attacking, so they know what vectors they're utilizing, largely at least themselves. Secondly, it's like that trusted model where you're sharing what you see. You're not sharing any of your personal information, you're just saying, hey, we're seeing attack vectors coming from here. And the indicators go from a range of areas which can be changed or not. So things like IP addresses, whatever, you can change them. And that's not going to last for long anyway, it's very temporary. But when you go into like behaviors and methods and actually profiling the threat actors behind it, those are things that are a lot more harder for attackers to change, even if they know about it.
Is it like an open source market whereby people are actually correcting things and updating things and actually saying this is something that lied, this is something that's actually not a threat?
When you submit something, the community can then contribute towards that. They can vote it up or down, for example, or they can put in submissions to say this is no longer active or what have you. So through that you build up a bit of a reputation as well. So your profile on there, based on the number of followers you have, based on the number of pulses you publish, based on the number of upvotes and downvotes you get a very good idea for the reputation of who's publishing and the quality of the data that they're publishing. And people who are publishing a lot of noise or stuff that's not very useful, they get downvoted, so they end up with less followers and less visibility.
I see. So just to sort of throw a kind of a cat amongst the pigeons a little bit, is it time we remove the words threat and intelligence to be understanding what the threats are, so the intelligence is actually something we can operate with?
What we like to term threat intelligence is as information about the malicious actors, their tools, methods, and infrastructure. So putting all that together gives you threat intelligence. Simply having threats or indicators on their own isn't intelligence, they're just a list of threats. So I think you're right, there needs to be an understanding when is something just a list of threats. It's just like having a list of vulnerabilities, which aren't threats, but just having that. Knowing that is one thing, but actually understanding how they apply to your environment and knowing what you can do to prevent against it or whether it even applies to you, that's where the intelligence comes into it.
So the intelligence should be quite operational as well. It should be something you can actually work with and say this is actually what means something to me.
You've got the operational side, the tactical side, you've got the general awareness of operators. You gain them from lots of different sources. You can't just rely on one source and say this is the only feed I'm going to, or this is the only source of information I'm going to consume, because the threat actors change constantly, and you need to be aware of that.
All right, Javvad, thank you very much for your time today.